trick right out of this wicked.
Hey everybody, happy Friday. This is Overpass Live. My name is Eric. I make apps. This is the weekly live stream where we talk about whatever we want to talk about. It's just the time we just hang out, we just chill, we just hang. And I didn't do one last week, and it's been a couple weeks since we got a video out, and it's just, you know what? This is one of those days where I started thinking about it. Like, I think since this morning, I haven't spoken to anybody all day long. I'm just having one of those kind of weeks where I'm just working on stuff, and I'm having a lot of text conversations. But I think as software developers, you guys probably know what this is like. We just like, dude, when I open my mouth, I'm realizing, oh, I have to clear my throat. It's like I don't even know what I'm talking about. But so there's a lot to talk about this week in terms of Apple's new announcements. We got the new iPhones were announced this week, although a lot of you guys are Android, so you might not really care about that. But I mean, it's kind of cool. I mean, I suppose. Oh, there we go. So let's see who we have here. I saw this one first. Larry Darrell, App Master, live stream is better. Dude, he's cooler. He's more charming. He's slicker. Now Steve, yeah, Steve is like, good, fine. It's a different thing. Yeah, he's got a guest. I'm sure they'll have something that you can watch. I mean, it's going on now. So go ahead. It's more helpful, interesting guest, consistent content. He's a better dresser. He's got better personality. Yeah, whatever. So this channel needs a lot more work, dude. I'm happy with that. It's one of these things. So I've been getting a lot of comments lately about how you need to put more effort into your videos and stuff like that, and it started to bother me for a while. Like, it's kind of like that perfection. You start to become a perfectionist, start thinking, oh, is this good enough to put out? Is this good enough to put out? And then you kind of like realize, well, so many people are that one day they're going to put out their app, that one day they're going to start their business, that one day they're going to write something, that one day, but they're waiting until everything is perfect and everything is before they get started. And sometimes if you want to get good at something, you just have to start it. So yeah, I mean, the channel does need more work. I'm always working on it, and that's kind of the fun thing, the evolution of how things go, right? And that's one thing in the app. I mean, as an app developer, for those of you guys who put stuff on the app market, I'm sure you've spoken to people who said, I have an app idea, and I have an app idea, and I'm going to build it one of these days. I'm just waiting for whatever, the stars to align. I'm waiting for my mortgage to be done. I'm waiting for my kids to move out, and whatever. And then sometimes you just have to start it. You're not going to wait until you're done. So yeah, Larry, I totally get that you don't like the channel. It's just cool. Fine. Then you go watch that one. Yeah, I mean, he's probably not even here anymore, but I appreciate it, Larry. He's probably over there watching Steve right now. My +1. Billy, what's up? Everything's going pretty well. Thanks, Billy. Appreciate it. I've been working this week. This week I've just been coding away, and this is one of those, where I'm kind of like just trying to keep the ball rolling. So much is going on in the world right now with people losing their jobs and a lot of stuff going on. There was like, I'm trying to keep the team and everything going. We have more projects coming in, but it's also just trying to get stuff over that finish line. And sometimes, again, I took a really bad hit. I did a video about it a few weeks ago about having a developer who was running down the clock on a project to where I had to be spending late nights working on it. And that's, other than that, things are going pretty well. But yeah, Larry, keep your opinion to yourself. No, Larry, tell us your opinion. If you guys think I suck, fine, go ahead. Like, it's, that's one of the things about, that's one of those things about putting yourself out there, right? It's like, as app developers, you guys all know what that's like. If any of you guys have had a bad review, and if you hadn't had a bad review, you haven't had enough reviews, right? There's always gonna be somebody who comes out there and puts something hateful on there. And I tell you what, it stings, it hurts. There was a comment a few weeks ago that on the videos that really just, but that's what creators, and I'm talking about app developers, creative people like app developers and software developers, and those who are not just pundits who sit on the sidelines or who work in a corporate job where they get the luxury of having other people make decisions for them. People who actually put things out there, they do have to, you have to put up with the criticism. You have to put something out there for somebody to say, I don't like it. I think it sucks. I think it's, you should put more effort into it. And, it's one of those things. I just need to get thicker skin. But I appreciate that, Prosper Gunner. By the way, Larry, it well entitles your opinion. Yeah, you are. Yep. Lionel Fonseca, good morning from Toronto. Hi, Toronto. Awesome. From Hamilton, Toronto. Cool. Eric is late. So my VA started setting up the live streams, and she started setting up 5 minutes early. And I was like, and I didn't realize it until I came in to do it. I'm like getting everything set up, and I realized it said 4:55. So sorry about that. No, we start at 5 o'clock usually. Kyle Waynes, hi, how's it going, Kyle? Neural Garithmic says, hey Eric, how's it going? Ayush here. Ayush Pai, you changed your name. It's finally Friday. Yes. Yeah, it's Friday. Although I got a busy weekend. I've got like, it's one of those things. I don't know if you guys have ever done this where you gave a deliverable for Monday thinking, I got all week to do this. And then Friday comes, you're like, oh, yeah, there's my weekend. That week, I already promised away my weekend like during the week to some other project. But so which means, if in some ways I'm no different than I was as a teenager, where like Sunday night I'll be like cramming to do get that stuff done. Mark, hey Mark, welcome back. Thanks. Leaping Games, we made it. Damn right. John Reed, good to see you. Yeah, it's good to be here. Like I said, it's been like a strange taking that. Like last week, I didn't do the live stream. Just was like so much stuff to do, and it felt like it's like 2 weeks without a video. I feel like, I don't know if you guys have ever. You just get into the habit of doing stuff, and it's really strange just to feel like it's almost like if you guys have ever run a lot. Like I used to run like 3 to 5 times a week. And if I would go like 2 weeks without running, I'd feel like, I just like physically there was no changes, but mentally you just feel like I'm just lethargic and just whatever. And that's the way it kind of felt with doing the live streams. Because it's like I finally get to talk to other developers, even though, we get to chat about stuff. Yo, Eric, says Cord Funk. When are you going to get a new camera? It seems I seem to remember you said you had an M50. I was trying to set up the M50 and I got this battery. Sorry about that. I do have an M50, which is somewhere, right? And I have this like fake battery because the battery only lasts half an hour and for live stream. So I have used it a few times, but yeah, this time I was like, so I'm using this the C920, which does kind of fade in and out with focus. So sorry about that. MD says, thank God you're okay. Thanks. I appreciate that. But yeah, the M50 is a really good camera. So that was the one I use for most of the videos. I've done it for a few live streams. But let's see. Morris Taylor says, Eric, can an indie dev spread their best apps across several business accounts to protect from Apple wiping them out or closing their main developer account? I don't think so. I mean, okay, let's talk about the problems with that. First of all, I mean, in terms from an ASO point of view, you're talking about having several. I mean, even if you had like multiple apps on your same account, you'd have the same kind of problem. But you would have like all the reviews would not help bolster that one application. So it's the reviews and the downloads and the keywords. All that stuff is what's going to link everything to that application. So if you're competing with yourself, I mean, you would just be competing with yourself. All of your apps would just stay at that one level. Now, Apple doesn't really have that big a. I mean, actually, Apple, they will reject things, but it's not like Google where they'll just terminate you or suspend you, terminate you, right? So it's like a, but yeah, and also, I mean, they would be so similar to each other. Well, I mean, you would have to make them look like different apps, right? And then you would be in competition with yourself, which is, I guess, Nike owns Converse, so technically Nike's in competition with itself, but they are the ones who get all the money. So maybe it's like in the end you'll be like the conglomerate, right? And you'll just like be able to but for me, I've had friends who have set up multiple accounts. I've always found it to be like and it's in the early days I had like I was in this app mastermind group, and I knew all these guys who had multiple Google Play and Apple accounts set up, and they had like multiple bank accounts and multiple email addresses. And to me, that just sounded like difficult. Like it just, it's hard enough to maintain one. It's hard. So if you've ever done a thing where you have like one good app or 5 apps or something like that, and then you go to like 100 apps, it's hard to maintain 100 apps, right? And to maintain lots of apps across different accounts, I mean, that's got to be hard too. I mean, you get the safety net, like all your eggs are not in one basket, but I don't know. I guess it depends on how likely you think it is to be suspended. And I know all of us, I mean, for me, like even apps that shouldn't be suspended have been suspended, and I've had to appeal them. But Jose says, what's your AdMob revenue this month? This month? So, let's have a look. Take a look at the daily revenue report. Oh, sorry. Put that through Google. So I'm going to share my screen. It's low. I can't show you the RPMs. That's one of those things where the RPMs are... What's that doing there? I can't show you the RPMs, but I can show you this, the daily revenue. So for September, the AdMob total was 225 pounds, which is, again, it used to be like $3,000. And so far this month, it's 164. Oh, that's a total GBP. So we don't have this. Why don't we have a total? So far this month, it's 105 pounds. So yeah, it's dwindling. It is dwindling, dying a slow death for me. But I've also been so focused on client work at the moment, just so focused on client work that that is kind of going off to one. So does Eric still know how to talk? I don't know. The grass is always greener on the other side. Oh yeah, the other side being the other channel. Yeah, yeah, I suppose it is. Leonel Fonseca says, now your videos are fine. Keep going, man. Thanks, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, there every so often somebody will say, you know what you need to do is you need to do tutorials. And every so often, like I'll go out and I'll film like a nice video and I'll just like spend a lot of time on it. But then there's also the hard reality, which is I'm not a YouTuber. I'm an app developer. I make apps, right? If I wanted to be a YouTuber, I could join the many people who are trying to make like their living through YouTube and go out and say, I'm going to do one where I eat something crazy or I do something, but I just talk about apps, right? It's, and it comes to that point where I'm happy, like, and I think like it's something I think everybody should do. Like if you thought that just for you to be able to share the information that you have with other developers and make the developer ecosystem a better place, in order to do that, you had to get a nice camera, you had to write scripts, you had to like have high production value of your videos. You would think, well, I'm not like, I'm an app developer, like I'm a developer, right? That's what you should do, right? We should be able to exchange information as long as it's legible and understandable and everything like that. So, it's I appreciate that. So yeah, so if it ever seems like I'm just winging it, I'm just winging it. But I appreciate that. Anyone else's AdMob would have been a bit down recently? Let's see. I think mine's about consistent. No, actually, mine is lower than last month. Oh yeah, quite a bit. And that's saying a lot because it's low. Let's see. MD says, Eric, how do you improve AdMob's? How do I improve AdMob's match rate? How do you? The best way to improve the match rate is to have like mediation networks, because if AdMob doesn't have anything to show, then it's gonna do that. I mean, it's one of those weird things where a lot of people talk about the impressions and the match rate. Sometimes you'll have an ad loaded, so you might have your RPM based on the request, you have your RPM based on impressions. Impressions is the one you really care about, because you might have loaded. So every time you show an ad, you should already be loading the next one ready to display, right? Because it's an asynchronous process. So you shouldn't be like, like I used to do back in the old days, where it's like, when I need an ad, then I'll make that request. And then even if it takes 5 seconds, then it just ruins the whole experience. You need to have that ready and waiting. So preload it and then have it ready to display when you do it. So that means that your figures are going to be kind of skewed up a little bit. Gilhelm, hello guys. Hey Gilhelm, how's it going? My voice got very high just then. There you go, Helm. How's it going? Yes, we're just hang on here. Let's see. The best time. Rodrigo says the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second best time is now. I agree. Let's see. Vanch Rango says, which framework for game development? Fire. Thank you. For me, I've done videos about this several times before. my game framework of choice is still Corona, which is now Solar 2D, but I think Unity is kind of taking the top spot. Although, to be honest with you, like I know a lot of Unity developers, but I don't know like a whole lot of Coco 2DS developers, which I think is probably still that thing. I mean, if you've ever, I've learned a lot from just if you've ever done like your own game, like with your own game loop, right? That's something that you think about. By the way, again, we talk about technology stuff here. We talk about development stuff. So like if it's whatever. So like if I get too technical, sorry about that, but that's kind of what we do. So if you've ever done like your own like game from scratch where you didn't use a framework and you had the loop, so you actually had that the timeout going on there, so you have the loop and you have each of those objects moving pixel by pixel, like and rather than using whatever the inbound constructs of the framework are, you learn a lot more doing that because you're thinking in terms of object-oriented programming, be able to structure your programming really, really well. And so you don't need a framework. It just makes it a lot easier. Let's see. Leaving Games. Much love, Eric Wroolie. Thank you, Leaving Games. Appreciate that. Theo Taylor said, Eric is alive. Last week must have been hectic. It was. I think it was just having one of those weeks where I was just like, it was, yeah, I wanted to just get out and do something and, go, I went to go pick up what did I do? Oh yeah, I went to go pick up my son. I went to pick up my son from university and bring him back. And he was like, when can you go? And so I was like at the live stream and all this stuff. And it was like on all this work and everything. And I thought, oh, you know what? We'll just, we'll push it back. So apologies for that. But yeah, it was hectic. Let's see. If you've ever had a bad review, you haven't had enough reviews, Eric 2020. It's true. Like my first review was a bad review and it stings bad. And the thing about having a bad app review and having a bad YouTube comment is different because a bad app review is like, I don't like your app. And the bad YouTube comment is, I don't like you. So it's like one of those things where you, it just is what it is. So Anonymous says, hi, Eric. Hey, how's it going? Have a nice day. You too. I appreciate that. And if you like this stream, you better smash that like button. Oh, yeah. Obviously, I'm under the gun. So, yeah, smashing the like button. I really appreciate it. Let's see. And we're just hanging out. Marcos says, hey, good morning from Winnipeg. Dude, is it cold there? Must be. Let's see. Let's not talk about AdMasters all day because it feels like, all right, let's do it. All right. Is anybody asking about me over there? No, they don't. Because I don't think we're in competition. Except the timing is kind of weird, isn't it? But fine. It's fine. I mean, but I'm a developer. I make apps. I market apps. I sell apps. It's kind of what we do. So why does AppMaster stream at the exact same time? It would make more sense to do it on a different day so we could watch both. Yeah, I'd watch his stream too. That was weird. I don't know why that's its thing. We've been doing it this time for 3 or 4 years. So, and the reason we do it at 5 p.m. on a Friday is not because it's the most optimal time. It's just like the most convenient time for me. So if they're doing it because it's the most convenient time for me, cool. Have you ever had one of your competitors give you a bunch of 1-star reviews? I just got 10 1-star ratings today. It's weird because I don't know. I wouldn't know if they did. Probably. But like, I wouldn't know if it was them. I mean, I think the only way, like if you hardly get any reviews and you like, Kyle, if you got like no, like if you get like say 1 review every 3 days or something like that, and then you get 10 in 1 day, that's suspicious. But if it's like, but I don't think I've ever had that personally. Has anybody else? Let's see. Leaping Game says, okay, maybe have 2 headquarter locations and also change that user or email. Yeah, you're talking about the multiple accounts on Apple. Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, a lot of people do it. A lot of people. I was talking to somebody earlier today who has multiple accounts, and it's one of those things that I just have never done. And when my account was terminated, and I appealed it, so appeal, right? So, like if your app gets suspended, if you did nothing wrong, don't be the victim like I did the first time. It's like appeal and then appeal again. and don't, I mean, we did videos about this before, but don't appeal to how the injustice of it. Don't appeal to how bad they're being to you. Don't, appeal to, you know, to the fact that it's the users, the Android users, who are suffering. But I do start to think, maybe having multiple accounts is not such a bad thing. I did not mean to. Okay, Morris says, I did not mean to clone my apps across businesses. I mean, Killer App would have their own business. Oh, then, yeah, maybe. This is something like, this is a feature I thought they should have. Like, this whole creating multiple accounts thing is just, I mean, I can see why you do it. Because one of the things I wanted to do was, like, I had this creepy spy application, and I had all these language learning applications. And, like, they were two completely different things, right? I didn't go with one thing. I went with, like, two different things. And if you go say more by this developer, it doesn't make any sense. And you see this a lot. When we look at like apps here on the live stream, you look at somebody's app, and might be like whatever, a currency converter or something, say more by this developer, be something completely different, right? It's like, it makes sense to have like a brand for something, like be able to section off those different stores, like almost have like your own parent account and then multiple stores within that account, the same you would with any retail kind of thing. But so yeah, I could see that might maybe move it across businesses. Each Killer App would have their own business. Yeah, I think so. If you could get around the whole setting up multiple accounts, multiple headquarters, multiple emails, all that kind of stuff. Let's see. John Reese said, do you do most of your work standing up, or is it just for the live stream? Mostly it's for the live stream. Sometimes I will. So John, there's times like I don't know if you guys get this way, but like I like have a really productive morning, and then like the afternoon I'm just sort of like, oh yeah, I'm so tired. I'm just like, and sometimes standing up does help, right? And you put the music on, you can dance a little bit, do a little dance, make a little noise, right? And so it's good. But yeah, for the most part, I do like, I'll sit down. So like the live stream, I'll stand up. And then when I have Zoom meetings too, for some reason, I just feel like I have more energy in the Zoom meetings, right? Especially meeting with clients or whatever. I just, it helps to stand up and do it. But there's still, and then sometimes when I'm coding something, but for the most part, like my coding stance is slump down in the chair, go down to the bottom one, lean back, and just like, with the big monitors and everything, and just tune the rest of the world out. Like that's the whole thing. It's like the two sides of things. You got the, I'm up, like let's meet with a client. I'm up, I'm peppy, I'm energetic. Hey, everybody, how's it going? And then, okay, now to go into developer mode, it's like nobody talk to me. Sit down and try to ignore any emails that come in, or Slack or Skype and all that kind of stuff. But that's just me. Wait, does anybody else? Okay, so does anybody else out there stand up when they work? I'd be interested to know that. Let's see. Morris Taylor says Eric could sell EarSpy to a competitor, and Google would probably allow it since they allow the other clones. Can't get a better clone that's using the same source code. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, part of me wonders whether or not, because it's been months since I just let it go. It's like it's been suspended so many times, it's been appealed so many times, and it only just occurred to me that maybe it was the result of the competitors like making requests, whatever. Like because I've had competitors removed. Maybe they were removing it. Maybe I just should have kept appealing it. Right? It's always one of those things where, but it just got so tiring just re-releasing it and redoing it and redoing it. And when my whole account was suspended, that scared me. Like it was like, God, I want to lose all of it. But yeah, you're right. It would let me, those guys are still there. Those copycats are still there. Oh, don't get me started. Okay. Gotta get me one of them stand-up desks. It's cool. So yeah, so you like it. This one's one of those ones, it's a Veridesk. It was pretty pricey. It's heavy, but I got it like 5 years ago or something like that. And it was one of those things where like I am so susceptible to reviews and anybody saying like the ball, like the big exercise ball. I was sitting on that for like 2 days, right? I try all kinds of stuff, but this was a good purchase. I mean, it's big, so it's got the monitors up here on it. but the fact that it goes up and down is really good. It's not one of those electric ones that go zzz, zzz, which I always think that the motor could break, but this is this was like 350 pounds when I got it, and which is pricey. It was like one of those, the apps were doing well. I had a Mustang. It was a different time, right? But like so I got this thing, and I really do like having this stand-up desk. But it's called a Veridesk. Is the focus on with your camera, Eric? It is. I don't know what's wrong with this thing. Let me see if I could. Oh yeah. Let me see if I can figure this out. Advanced focus, autofocus. Is that better? No, that's the same. Huh. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, next week I'll get the nicer camera set up. That's it. Yeah, we don't. We can't have all those really cool camera effects like over on App Masters. God, they're so much better. Let's see. Leno says, yeah, the foreground window light is making it go fish for focus. Oh, is that what it is? He gets a backlight? Let me just, excuse me a second. All right, maybe that'll do it. That's the benefit of having a stand-up desk. Just wandering off. Like during a meeting, where you're just like, okay, so you're like in a Skype meeting, like a Zoom meeting, right? And you're just like, and they're just like, somebody will say something that you're just like, you just kind of like wander off camera, like, and then wander back. I'm good. Let's see. Let's see. Metallic W says, representing Kenya. Hey, welcome, Kenya. Awesome. One-Eyed Dream says, good to see you. I've been learning Unity. Cool. Is it okay? So here's a question I have for you, Unity developers, and I've kind of looked at this. Are you able to like? So I've always been, well, for the longest time, a C# developer. So like Unity was something I'm looking at getting into. But like, what are the projects like? You know what? I'll look that up myself. But are you enjoying it, One-Eyed Dream? So many game engines to pick from. Yeah, that's true. Chord font OOP me. That's not OOP. Like, okay, so I can remember when I didn't understand object-oriented programming. Right? It was just like people would do it, and it was like, oh, they're just making it. But like when you get like games, is super like just having a player character and whatever alien character and a boulder carrier character or whatever, and just having them all react to the collisions on each loop of the game loop and frame. I think it's really cool. Moving further and further away from it, more programming I do. Ooh. Are you doing something better than object-oriented programming, or are you just going back to like not object-oriented? Marco says, hey Eric, do you have any suggestions for the marketing side of things when I launch my app on iOS and Android? Planning on launching in 2 weeks. So, well, yeah. I mean, there's make sure you're. I mean, for the marketing side, okay. For the marketing side, if you can get some ads ready, like to begin with, like so, if you were gonna set up a landing page, you could do something like that, and then put something out for. The nice thing about doing a landing page as opposed to going straight to the app stores is that it's a lot cheaper to do an ad that way. So you put something out there on Facebook. Also, if it's not ready yet, you can get that mailing list or something if you wanted to. Although I don't know how effective that actually is. But then when you get the actual apps, you can do the targeted advertising to whoever they are. I think the one thing you should do, Marco, is just if you know who your target audience is, then you start thinking about how you're going to actually reach out to those people, because it's going to be very dependent on who they are. So if they're doctors, then you're going to go to a different place than if they're teachers, or if they're parents or whatever. So, or if you're just like putting out a game which like this is for everybody, then you need to think about who are the real people that you think are going to be using this application. Like what age demographic, what age, what gender, all that kind of stuff. Because then you can really start to target it based on that, rather than just putting a whole bunch of money into advertising and then watching it just flitter away. So, worst app reviews are fantastic. App 3 stars. Yeah, that's true. Lee McGann says the name is Charles, by the way. Oh, thanks, Charles. Appreciate it. Bart Racka. Happy Friday, gangsters. Happy Friday, Bart. Let's see. MD says, my educational apps usage and revenue crash on weekends. What do I do? Educational apps usage and revenue crash on weekends. I don't know. I mean, why would that be the case? It would be because would that be because they're they're used by students in school, and that shouldn't have affected the download so much. Let's see. Lee begins. We hope your day is going great, Eric. Thanks very much, Charles. I appreciate it. Let's see. Bargracker says, anyone else got a massive drop in ECPMs as of late? I've had almost a 60% drop in the last 2 weeks. Anyone else seeing this? I'm going to have a look, but I'm not going to show my screen because, you know, it's all not showing the AdMob thing. Not showing the AdMob thing here. My ECPM is, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's, yeah, it's just over, I mean, it's just over a pound. Yeah, it's pretty low. But no, mine, it shows an increase of 32 cents in the last few weeks. Huh. But so I don't know if anybody else has. Leonel Fonseca says, fantastic app, but app rating should be moderated. I guess it's free for all right now. That's true. Yeah, I mean, how could you moderate it? I mean, it's bad. I mean, they can't even moderate like YouTube videos. They can't even moderate Facebook content. Not unless they put an algorithm in it. And then how would the algorithm be able to know? One Eye Dream says, I made an Android game using native code, but it crashed after it was published. I gave up. I used Surface View in a background thread. Maybe it's the reason why it crashed. I decided to learn Unity. Well, yeah, that's true. If you go Unity, then at least you got that cross-platform thing too, where you can release it to iOS, hopefully without any changes. I have multiple accounts on Apple. Kyle says, I have multiple accounts on Apple. One account got terminated by Apple, and the other accounts are still alive. Really? I see. It was very rare that I hear about people who get their accounts terminated by Apple. What did you have to do in order to do? I mean, Google, yeah, they'll like, rare to meet somebody who hasn't had an account terminated on Google. But so, Kyle, what happened on there? Did they say why it was? Rodriguez says, many times that's because the food you eat, the sugar spike is real, aka carbs. We're talking about in the afternoons. Yeah, that's true. I do not have a good diet. As we talk about every live stream when I have to quit because of pizza time. Although today I'm not having pizza. I'm having fish and chips. So, what is that? I never stand up while I work. Because I never stand up while I work. Yeah, it's a weird feeling. I've been in places where I'm just so used to sitting down, right? And there was one place where like they had like a countertop, and I kind of got used to standing up. But then you like, I don't know. There's like if you guys ever do contracting, like temporary work someplace, like whatever, you're like paid better than everybody else, but you get like the worst desk, the worst computer, the worst chair, right? Every time like the last guy leaves, everybody takes all the good chairs, and like by the time you go into like a new office and you're like, okay, Eric's a contractor, he's gonna be working for the next 6 months, he's like, whatever, you're making way more money than them, so it's kind of like it's fine, it's a good trade. But like there's been many times where I sit down at a desk at at a contract in some office, and like after like 3 hours, my back is killing me. It's like, what's wrong with this chair? With like the settings, everything's just all messed up on it. So yeah, so sometimes standing up is even better. But yeah, a better chair is even better than that. I do. Today I stood up most of the day. I should do it more though. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's more the energy of just being able to, like I said, do a little dance, make a little noise. It's fun tonight. Yo, Eric, any experience with e-commerce applications? No, we've done some where we didn't do the e-commerce side of things. We did like the Shopify integration. So using Shopify as a back end, which I don't consider that an e-commerce application. I guess it is an e-commerce application, but it's like Shopify does all the heavy lifting, right? It's just like we're just basically, connecting to that. But let's see. Rodrigo says, I found an IKEA has electric stand-up desk, 500 euros. Yeah, the electric one. I was interested in the electric one too. It's just like if you've ever had, well, obviously if you guys have ever had, if you ever had like the electric window of your car, the motor go out on it, and you can't roll it up or down. Then you start thinking, I wish I just had that, the thing. And I know if any of you guys don't know what the turn handle is for the window, don't talk to me. But there's those times when that breaks and you're like, oh, this failure of it because now you got this thing. So that's what I was thinking with the stand-up desk thing with the motor. It's like, I guess it is a bit, it's actually not bad. I got 2 big monitors on here, a lot of stuff. I got all my junk thrown up on here. It doesn't take much to lift this thing. And, I could use the strength training. Let's see. Mark Curtis says, App Masters only got 29 views and 5 thumbs down. So be happy, dude. I am not. Look, I'm glad he's doing well. So he showed up a couple weeks ago, said, "Hey, when you come on my live stream?" So it's like, there's no bad feelings there. Still fishing. It's something else. Says Lionel. Still fishing. Charles Leaping Game says, the camera is no biggie. We got that problem to here, but much better to say the editor has 360p on. Okay. Marcus says, my app targets mostly middle and high school students. It solves many of the types of math problems, but keeps rewarding feeling at the same time with user management. Oh, cool. So Mark, I've had this conversation just last week. So if you have one that's meant for students, do you have a problem with user management? Like, do you have any? My big fear about doing something with student information is it's hard enough holding information for normal people with GDPR, and with students, that I would imagine that you have to have really tight security controls. Which if you use something like Firebase, it should be fairly tight, but all the paperwork and stuff, it seems like it would be kind of, in my mind, and I don't know this for sure, it just seems like it'd be a nightmare to do. Morris says, Supreme Court is looking at Oracle versus Google. If Google loses, decision could kill Java and push Flutter. Oh, that's a weird one, isn't it? That's weird. Yeah, that is. Yeah, I never. Yeah, all the stuff about the Supreme Court and the new nomination, all this stuff. I don't think about how's that going to affect Java. I didn't even think about any of that kind of stuff. Ooh, wow. Rodriguez says, Eric, I noticed you are streaming at 720p. I'm pretty sure you can make it better. 1080. Am I? Am I? Okay. Is it the kind of thing where I'm going to end up? Okay. Yeah, let me sort that out. I'm not sure. I don't know if I want to mess around with the settings. I might lose you guys. Well, yeah, boy, I'm just firing on all cylinders. I'm just getting I got bad focus. We started late or early. Got the whatever. So what language? Charles Leaping Game says, what language, as in game development, do you use now? I love older editors for developmental purposes. What's your favorite back in our day? Okay, so my favorite editors of all time are. I still like WebStorm. WebStorm's my go-to. So I like the JetBrains tool. So I will go from. So I'm using the JetBrains suite. I used to hate. So keyboard shortcuts is the. I mean, that's the whole thing. That's what that speeds you up. So a lot of them are pretty consistent. Control C, Control V, whatever. But you got those other ones just duplicating a line is different in Visual Studio than it is in Sublime Text, than it is in WebStorm. So keeping the JetBrains tools, one of the reasons why I have the JetBrains suite is so that I could use JetBrains Writer for .NET development and Xamarin. I could use IntelliJ for Flutter and Android native, although I could use Android Studio. It's pretty much the same thing, but yeah. And then I use I try to use Data Grip a little bit for because I'm on a Mac and I can't use whenever I have to do anything that's SQL Server based. Although for me, MySQL Workbench is better for SQL Server. What else is that? What else is the JetBrains stuff that I use? WebStorm. So I use WebStorm for both Lua. I use WebStorm for Lua. I used to use Sublime Text. I used to use Sublime Text for almost anything. I wish I could say it was so cool that I use Emacs. Yeah, I use Emacs mostly. No, I like the IDEs. So back in the day, it was like Visual Studio and stuff like that. And I can remember using Visual Basic, and like the IDE and the language were inseparable from each other. And I remember looking at Java thinking, you don't even like what IDE do you use for Java? And it was like, you can use any IDE, man. It's like the compiler is separate, and it seems like most things have gone that way, which is good. So like having it separate, so I can take whatever IDE I want, and it's just the manipulation of the code that's important from the IDE as opposed to how it actually compiles it. But yeah, but I think the JetBrains, the JetBrains tool suite, mainly because of the shortcuts. I get the same shortcuts across all of them that I like to use. However, you do get issues where there's a bit of a lag, and there might be a bug in JetBrains where I have to go back to Visual Studio to do something. So I might use, so then the shortcuts are all different. So then I'm like, I'm going to the menus and everything. Let's see. ChordFunk says OOP has its place, but OOPing everything is just a waste. Instantiating a thing that you have to manage, if it can be done in a stateless function, just seems like adding unnecessary complexity. I do agree with that. One of the things that I really like about JavaScript, and I guess TypeScript and any kind of dynamic language, is that you don't have to, have tight type like you don't have to instantiate a variable. You can just use the variable. And like with JavaScript, let's say I have a list of, like say I have a restaurant, I have a list of tables that come down, and I have it come into my GUI, and like as I'm looping through it, I want to be able to put a parameter on there that just says whether I've already seen it, right? So I could do something like cut up another array saying the user's already seen it, because I don't want to store it on the object itself because it's specific to that particular user. So maybe I might just want to dynamically, as it's rendering, attach a property onto that. I don't want to have to go back to the main class or the main object and put a property there that's not only going to be used in this one specific scenario. I want to be able to attach that property dynamically. And I know I could have an interface, like I could have whatever, an abstract class or an interface or some way to do it cleverly, but then you're like, yeah, you are just lost in the brilliance of how good you can code rather than how quickly you can get something done. But I do agree with that. Rico fuck. Yeah. And no idea why Apple terminated my account. It says Kyle. Just out of nowhere, received an email saying it violated Section 3.2 of the ADP agreement, and they will be terminating my account. What is 3.2 ADP? Wow. CubeDev says, "Hey Eric, here's my app, Turbo Browser, super fast and secure browser. There have been very high decrease in installs. Any help would be appreciated." Well, let's have a look at it. I don't know if we could. I don't know. We'll have a look. See what. Just up. Okay. So go to Google Play. Da, 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 da. Okay, so it's called, what's it called? Turbo Browser. Turbo Browser, okay. Ooh, there's a few with the same name. This is kind of weird. Okay. Super. I'm assuming it's that third one there, but it's kind of weird that, oh, wait a second. Turbo Browser super fast. Turbo Browser super fast. A secure browser. AdBlocker Pro, which is like nothing. Okay, so these two are weird. Why the names are so similar to each other? Okay, so we had a decrease in installs, 118. That's weird. So let's see, we got reviews, best browser on Google, the best browser on Google Chrome, Firefox. Worst app ever. I'm just okay. No idea. I would imagine. So let's see. What's the last release date of this? Last release the 23rd of September. That was version. Current version 4. Let's go back and look at that competitor one. The 30th of July, version 0.4.5. So is it possible that these guys are taking away from your, whatever, anybody who would have been using it? Because it's weird. That's like either that's you doing both of them, or it's a competitor or a copycat or whatever, or something completely different. But just the naming is really weird. I think, in my humble opinion, IMHO, which I know you guys didn't know. I knew that, but I do. I can't even appeal it. Why can't? Yeah, that's really strange, Kyle. Actually, I'm gonna look that up, Kyle, because that was I've never heard of that. So, what was 3.2 F of ADP agreement? But yeah, what is ADP? It's like, oh, ADP privacy code for client data processing. Oh, is that what it is? See, let's see. IKEA has a manual one, 180 pounds, save money, and train your muscles. Yeah, and then but let's see. I think Marwin says I think Java will push Kotlin harder. Yeah, I think it'll be hard to like abandon Java, but yeah. Yeah. Don't change now. Let's see. Morris says, Eric, you convinced me to start developing indie apps, not to find a job, but to build products. Thanks. Yeah, but have a job too. Like, you make sure you have the revenue coming in, because it's I've known some people who are like, it's do or die for me, which is like a scary proposition. But see, I can check with you later, Eric. Okay. Cord says, used to use Atom for anything web, Android Studio for Android, Xcode for iOS because Apple forces me to. Yeah, there is a I use Xcode, but JetBrains does have JetBrains code, app code is what it is. But I've never it's one of those things where Xcode updates every 4 hours. There's always an Xcode update, not every 4 hours, but seems like the amount of times I have automatic updates, and people say, oh, why would you have automatic updates? Because it's embarrassing when you release to a new version and you can't support it. That's why. But yeah, so like the amount of times where there's been an Xcode update overnight, I'm just like, oh, not only do you have to wait for it to finish installing whatever supplemental things it does, but it's just, and it's the key. Like, I spend as little time in Xcode as possible. In fact, I open up Xcode, I go to the general tab. I set my certificate assigning profiles. That's all I do, right? I package, I deploy. That's like really what it is, right? And then maybe sometimes I might have to mess around with the info.plist, but most of the time, if I'm using cross-browser platform, I'll use it in the XML anyway. And this is another thing with Xcode. Like they don't show you the XML, but the documentation shows you the XML. Like you have to use the NS location always in use, whatever, and then like it's not named that in the drop down. Oh, Xcode! Don't get me started on Xcode. Now I use VS Code with Flutter for most things. VS Code is impressive. The only reason I haven't abandoned JetBrains is because I still use it for the other stuff too. But if I was going to do anything, it would be to Visual Studio Code. Charles says, I'm 55 years. Cool. I'm 48. So, yeah, that's cool. Yo, Eric, I thought you were a Vim guy. No, I know. I look like, I probably, Have you ever like known somebody? I used to be this like I used to be like I want to do everything from the command line. I do a lot of things from the command line. Like I use Git from the command line. It's like I know the Git commands, and I prefer to use Git from the command line rather than whatever GUI thing. And so many times people have sent me stuff like you have to download this app from was it Pear Tree or something? I can't remember what it was, but it was like use this GUI app for Git. I'm like I'm not going to use it's just easier just to go git add dot git git commit, git push, right? And it's just easier to do that rather than learn whatever GUI, whatever it is. So there's part of me that like, I think that makes me that makes me tougher because that makes me tougher as a developer, right? I'm the, like other developers look at me and go, wow, he's like doing everything in whatever, some ancient thing. But then like the amount of times that something goes wrong and you're on the command line, you're like, oh, screw this. Download that GUI thing. Let's see. Jay Wilson Jr. says, I love chili dogs. You read the comments. You read the description. Thanks, Jay. I appreciate it. I love chili dogs. This is where we start talking about food. I'm going to end up like wrapping it up thinking, oh, man, I'm so hungry. Morris says, I'm starting to learn with iOS stuff from Sean Allen, Wenderlich, and Paul Hudson. Can't wait to put stuff out there. Cool. Kyle says, got to run. Love. Thanks for the live stream. Thanks, Kyle, for joining. Sorry to hear about your account. It'd be interesting to hear more about that. Cool Design says, my AdMob account is limited second time. Will it be a reason to suspend account in the future? I don't think so. I mean, can you guess why it's limited? I mean, I think it's more like if it's how difficult it is. Johash Miguel Vivas Libasada says, how, just because. How? I'm 15 years. How are you 15 years? I imagine about the story starts about 15 years and 9 months ago. Kira System says, hey, Eric, here's my app. FF Sticker is the first app you can help me with for installs. I don't know if I can help. This is the thing. I'm just, we can have a look at it and see who has what, who's interested, whatever. But, let's see, show my screen. Is anybody, I think that's my night tonight is going to be, was it FF install you said? My night is going to be watching Star Trek Discovery Season 3. I think it started today. So like last week finished watching The Boys. I've been watching this show on Apple TV called Ted Lasso, which I really enjoyed. Let's see, FF Stickers. Am I not doing this right? Okay, Caro. Okay, there's actually a few of them here. Is it this one? Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, you have to. Caro Systems. You let me know which one it is, because otherwise I'm just gonna be looking at different stuff. So, okay, let's see. Morris says, pursuant to Section 3.2F of the ADP agreement, you agree that you will not commit any act intended to interfere with Apple software services. Oh, wow. How do you violate that? Not commit any act intended to interfere with the Apple software or services. Huh. What would that be? Something like trying to access something you're not supposed to access through like a backdoor API kind of thing? I see. Raymond Winter says, do you think too many businesses try to get app made and don't really need it? Yeah, I do. But this is a weird thing. Right now, like I'm at the point now where I go to, so I went to a pub the other day and, they say you have to download this app in order to order. And I'm like, okay. Whereas before I was like, I don't want to download your guys' app. I mean, this is like now with the social distancing and COVID, like these apps coming out, they're like, okay, so I've got all these apps for all these different places, even though I've only been there once. But I'm like, so it's really weird when they could use a website, a web app, etc. Yes, I do think so. FD Royd says, I love chili dogs and Git from the CLI. Damn right, chili dogs and Git from the CLI is a perfect Friday night. I agree with you. Taking actions may hinder the performance of the intended of the App Store B2B program or the program. Okay, taking action that may hinder performance or intended. Oh, weird. Let's see. We go. Wow, I'm a subscriber for you for 3 years. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that, Josh. Yo, Eric, yo, Funk. Have you checked out Oakcliff CLI library to build CLI tools, kind of like Inquirer, built by Heroku? Seems to be good. Saw it the other day. A CLI library to build CLI tools. Like, I've only done a few CLI tools. I may have done one. No, I've done more than one. I've done some like in mostly in script, but like Node I prefer to use Node with Commander. Let's see. Let's have a look here. Oops. So we're gonna look at. Well, I'll have a look at that Oakcliff. But let's have a look at Kira System saying FF stickers, WA stickers. Now, how does sticker apps actually perform? Because I've never actually had one of those, and I don't know what FF is. I assume it's Final Fantasy. I might be just saying something like doesn't make any sense. I'm like, Eric, Final Fantasy. But yeah, this looks like a kind of thing where I would be afraid of copyright infringement. But yeah, do you know what the rules are around that? I think that would be my big thing. So, because you're not using whatever it is, you're just using FF, which is might let you fly under the radar. But also you can use these stickers in what's. Yeah, I mean, you're trying very hard to get around the copyright stuff, but I think that's kind of one of those things where I would be a bit concerned about. But you are responding to all reviews, which is good. Where's app of stickers? I can't open the app. But I like the way you respond. Thanks for your feedback. We're sorry for the inconvenience. We have solved this problem in the latest. That's one of the things you want to do with your reviews. If you get a bad review, you just want to make sure that they go back and try it again. And that's not just for them. It's more for anybody else seeing that review. Erdem, hey, Eric, hey, how's it going? Ever had time to go over the storyboard phase in video production? And are you going to create a video courses anytime soon? No, it's like, like I said, the live streams are nice because we just turn on the camera and just go. But no, I don't do a lot of times, especially when I was doing it daily. One of the nice things about doing the daily video was it was my opinion, I might go out and film a little bit. I might, do it at my desk. I might do whatever and talk about whatever. But yeah, it's I'm not my core competency is software and apps. So it's if I ever thought like the YouTube thing was going to be like huge and it would like really take out, it does help get clients, but it's because of I can demonstrate my competencies as a developer as opposed to my competencies as a videographer. But I totally get that. Let's see. Charles was born August 1st, 1965. Wow. I was born July 30th, 1972. But yeah, it's like, us older guys in software. And then we've got Joe Hash, who's 15. Joe Hash, I always watch your videos. I appreciate that, Joe Hash. I appreciate it. Thanks. Use an Android logo. Oh, you talking about for the about interfering with the Apple thing? Yeah, I've had like apps like denied by Apple because apparently the app used in the screenshot or the phone used in the screenshot was not an Apple device, and but I didn't get any suspensions for that. Cool Design says ad serving in your account being temporarily limited while you're starting to build and grow your audience. This limit gives you a chance to assess the traffic quality. This is the reason. Oh, okay. Well, so many people get it and they ask me about it. This is the first app. So we looked at that one. Non-competitive clause, Lino says. Okay. Oh, yeah. So that would be the not mentioning Android stuff. Cool gadget, bro. Thanks. Drago Alive said, did you vote? Oh, good question. I was talking to somebody else about this. No, I didn't vote. I didn't vote last time either. It's and I know it makes me bad as a person. It makes me bad as an American citizen. But it's like first of all, I'm from California, so if I voted, it would be a California vote. And I know which direction California's going to go, and I know every vote counts, but really does it? And so I didn't. And I know that's terrible of me to say, but yeah, no, I didn't. I'm a bad American. I mean, yeah, I do everything else. I was in the army, I paid my taxes, did all this stuff. I'm very patriotic, but when it came to voting, I was just like, oh man, do I have to go to the embassy? How do that all work? Like it's like I got all this other stuff that like it was, so I didn't. Yeah, I'm bad. But let's see. I do CLI tools pretty much every app I build, mostly for assigning admin privileges, backup databases, etc. Okay, Corfuck, I do have like I want to call them CLI tools, but I have Node. I have a lot of Node. I do use Commander Nets, but yeah, I do this all the time actually. I like do like, especially the apps where I have the reskin of all the different ones, and I have like different folders. So I'd have all these Node.js processes that would resize icons, because that's like God, there's so many tools out there that do it for you now anyway. But if you like back in the old days, to resize all the icons myself, it's like I have Node.js scripts, command like CLI scripts, which I've written that will resize icons, and then also just move folders around, and it's changed like variables. So like if I'm going to release a pro and a free version of an application, and I have to remember to go in and change that one variable, it doesn't make any sense. So if I could just loop that in, now it would be really cool if I could loop that in with a. No, I do have one where I've in my bubble bath games, where it will go through and for each language it will move all the files around, change all the images, compile the application, and use Fastlane to upload it to the App Store. So the free and the paid version. So the Play Store rather. I would do the App Store, except they kept getting removed because of the 4.3 thing. So, but yeah, that's something like that saves you so much time in the end, being able to write those kind of tools for yourselves. Drew says, "Hi Eric, loved your session. Thank you very much, appreciate it." Also, when restructuring a Firebase database, is building a custom CLI tool is great. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, the one thing I hate about NoSQL in general is not having a SQL manager where you can just go in and just query it or just build something, and having to do everything like through CLI must be cool to do it. In fact, I have an app now where I need to migrate it from staging to production at some point, and I'm like, wondering how I'm going to do that, because I haven't thought that further in ahead, because I'm still in the point where, like, when I did, so I'm going off on a tangent, but when I used to do stuff in SQL, I made sure to do everything, or SQL Server especially, made sure to do everything through script, because then I'd have everything in script and I could just clear everything down and build it back up again, rather than go messing around with the table, assigning queries. And I know you could do all that stuff, like messing with a table using the GUI and then export it as a create statement. But in the old days, you couldn't. So that was always like, so your migration strategy from dev to staging to production. And with the Firebase stuff, because I'm just tweaking it as on the fly, I might run into that problem again. Morris says, I spent 35 years making CLI programs, monthly revenue 0. But yeah, you make them for yourself, right? Or is it restructuring? Sarathi says, hi Eric, could you please tell some interesting and simple app ideas for intermediate developer? I wouldn't, like, it depends. Like when you talk about app ideas, is this something like where it's like just an idea to practice, or something that would actually make money? Because if it was like practice, I always like to do like chat app. Like it depends on the like, if I'm trying to like play around with Firebase, it might be a chat application. A GPS tracker is a really good one to do. And like I said, just like you're just learning it. Because if you guys have ever done like a GPS functionality in one of your apps, you're walking around, make sure it works. I know you could use a simulator, but I don't know if it works really. So like walking around the neighborhood, just make sure the longitude and latitude changes, like, or go for a drive, just to, it's just like the harder to test those things. And if it doesn't, you have to go back inside. Why didn't you hit that point? But let's see. Tamil City Central. Hey, how's it going? Hey, Tamil, how's it going? I came late today. My app is on Play Store, multi-web browser, all in one app. Check it out, bro, and give you suggestions on how to promote. All right, we'll have a look. But it is getting, we are at 6 o'clock, so we're going to go through these a bit quicker now. So, what's it called? Multi-web browser. We just looked at a web browser. Is this like a new thing where we have, okay, multi-web browser on Play Store. Okay. What multi-web browser all in one click? No, I can't find it. Yeah, if you give me the package number. Sumit, born 11th August 1984. 1984. God, I remember. Wow, I was, God, I wasn't even a twinkle in my dad's eye back in 1984. No, I was like, God, 84 was a good year. I was 12 years old. Ghostbusters came out. Beverly Hills Cop. It was the best year for going to the movies. The next year, Back to the Future came out. It was like all these good movies. Yeah. 84. God, you know what? You just made it in time for all that cool stuff, but you were a baby. You couldn't appreciate 84 being fully 84. Let's see. It was meant as a joke, the 3.2 thing. Apple complains about everything. Oh, yeah. Always great to get younger developers. Yeah, I suppose, yeah. Joe Hash says, did you create eSpy? Yeah, it was my idea. So, but currently the Apple version is the only one that's out there, and I haven't updated it in ages. I created it on Android. It did really well. There's loads of clones out there. They're all called eSpy. But it was like, there was a guy who sat down and came up with like the red and black and all that kind of stuff. And what, how would this work? And it was like, that was all me. So, yeah, I mean, that's my own, Bujuan, do you believe that the average full-time salary of a developer in Nepal is around $200 to $400 a month? Is that like, do I actually believe? Wow, that's really low. But I guess, what's the cost of living? See, Tamil says, well, all your fans use my app. Yeah, Tamil, I don't know. It depends, if they want to. If they like the look of it, I guess, but we couldn't find it. American system is weird anyway. Why only 2 options? What if you don't like both? Well, I mean, there's lots of options in the beginning, but there's 2 parties, which is weird. But, you got the primaries and everything like that. And, yeah, it's true. Morris says, if you vote for Biden, you're a communist. If you vote for Trump, you're a Nazi. It's basically World War II again. Let's see. UK Baz says, sup, Eric? I'm 40 tomorrow. Happy birthday. Completed burnout. Thinking of becoming a farmer. Your thoughts, lol. Dude, burnout. I think last few weeks I thought maybe I'm reaching burnout too. I'm like, oh, you know what? I think, yeah, become a farmer. Yeah, I wouldn't become a farmer. But, okay, do you guys want to know, like, okay, so this week was Amazon Prime week. It was Prime Day, whatever. Prime Days, 2 days. So, I don't know what kind of stuff did you guys do? Did anybody out there get anything? Because I got like the nerdiest thing I've ever had. And I've got some nerdy stuff. I'm like, I've got all the gadgets, all the stuff, right? I got a robot vacuum cleaner. So that is connected to the Amazon Echo. So I've got Amazon Echoes in every room. It changed the light. I don't know if you can see that light is blue behind me. Dude, I'm just like totally like, I need help. I need this, pandemic to end so I can go out and become a productive member of society, because now I'm just sitting here watching my little robot vacuum go. Right? And my flat takes like an hour to clean, like normally anyway. It's not like that big a savings, but it's still cool. Morris says American politics is too toxic now. It is weird. Have you guys seen that documentary, Social Dilemma? I mean, it's pretty cool about the polarization and everything. Great words, Morris. It's a Firestore database. You could export a copy of the database and import it into a new project. That's true. Yeah, I'm thinking more of a... Yeah. Is it the same for Firestore? I'm thinking mine is Firestore, but yeah, I suppose you could just import it into a new project. It's not a real-time database. I haven't even looked at it. I've done that with real-time databases before. And then you have to do the rules and stuff. Let's see. Did I play Fortnite or PUBG? No, that's one of the... I am one of those rare people who I don't really play games. Like, I'm just not... Like, I've never played Fortnite. and I was in a house where everybody played Fortnite, and yeah, Leaping Leaping Game says them great years. Yep. I bought my Atari 800 XL in '84. God, yeah, the Atari. I remember coming home once and we had an Atari, which was like really uncharacteristic of our, like, that was what other kids had. We had an Atari, and then one day I came home and my mom had bought Pac-Man, like just like in the middle of the day for like in the week. She bought like Pac-Man for like the Atari, and it was like nothing like the Pac-Man at the arcade, but you're like, it's so like it. It's exactly like it. And I always remember that. The Atari. Oh, you're talking about 800 XL. I'm thinking of 4200, whatever. I'm thinking of the console. Fun writing code on it then. Yeah, I guess it's the computer. Sorry, I'm thinking going off on. Let's see. Lol. In 2058, future Eric will never say that about people born in 2020. That's true. Well, 2058. Hopefully, future Eric's still around. Multi-web browser 2020 mini app store. You can serve multi-browser when the first Pro. Okay, so we'll have a look, but I'm not gonna encourage anybody to download it. We'll have a look to see if 2020. Let's have a look. Put it on my desktop. Yeah, there's too many. This is one of those things. Yeah. I don't know which one it is. We'll look at it next time because I do need to get going here. Buwan says, is it worth learning blockchain? What do you think about the future of blockchain? I know very little about blockchain. I think it's worth learning anything that you think there might be a future to, right? Because there's going to be some, unless it's something that's dying off. And I don't think blockchain is dying off, even though it hasn't got a lot of the attention it has in previous years. Where before everybody was talking about blockchain. And to me, it seemed like just having that distributed data storage and everything, it was way over my head. Like every time I try to say, talk about for currency, right? And they're like, no, not even for currency, for other things too. And they're trying to, and it was like really slow the way that processed and stuff like that. So, but I think if you can make it work, I think it's worth learning anything. Like if you think there's a future in it. So, but I think it will help more if you think, what is your goals with it? You want to get a job doing it, or do you think you could build something with it? You have to do it in G Cloud, work for Firestore as well. Okay, actually, okay, I'll have to check that out. Good, thanks for that. Let's see, farm work is hard work. Spend my youth diffling to plant trees, 10K at a time. Oh, well, easy peasy. Thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Thanks. Are you programming or IT? Well, I always think programming is in IT, but I don't really distinguish to them. I always thought it was in IT. We have farms too. Let's see. Eric, I'm the same bait with games. I don't play them. I know, it's weird, isn't it? Like, especially when you're creating them. The third one. So, well, okay, let's have a quick look on this BeFocus Studio. But that's it. That's the last question I'm going to do. This is for Tamil City. You guys want to have a look at this? A multi-web app store. Yeah, okay. Is this okay? Are these reviews genuine? Would be my question. Well, yeah, let's have a look at all 5-star reviews. They just yeah. We'll have a look at this next time. Sorry, Tamil. It's just we gotta get going. Thanks everybody for joining the live stream this week. Again, it's been fun. Like, just if you guys think that I need to structure things differently or do things a little bit more formal way and put more effort into it, let me know. But I'm happy just to hang out with you guys. I'm happy just to like turn the camera on and we just chill and chat about whatever we want to talk about. Otherwise, it becomes something else. I am not a YouTuber. I'm an app developer. I make apps. I'm happy to talk about apps and geeky stuff with you guys all day long. But it's this is what it is. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great week ahead. I hope you guys you're healthy and you're safe and everything like that. Thanks for joining the live stream. Thanks for subscribing and liking and all that kind of stuff. And I'll talk to you guys again next week.